Picture this, you're going through a rough patch. Maybe work feels overwhelming, a relationship is weighing on you, or life just keeps throwing curveballs. Your energy is low, your mood is heavy, and motivation seems like a distant memory. Sound familiar? But what if I told you that, even in your lowest moments, you have the power to shift your energy instantly? In this video, we'll dive into practical, powerful techniques to help you raise your vibration, break free from negativity, and move through life's challenges with confidence and ease. Get ready to tap into your inner strength and shine, no matter what life brings your way. Number 1. The power of letting go. The real question is, how do you actually flip this switch? Because once you do, life will never hit the same way again. Let's get into it. So now you know the secret. It's not what happens to you, it's how you interpret it. But let's be real. Knowing this in theory and actually living it are two completely different things. Because when life throws something at you that feels personal, when someone disrespects you, when a situation just straight up feels unfair, it's way too easy to forget everything and fall back into reaction mode. So how do you actually train your mind to stay immune to all the everyday nonsense? How do you get to that place where nothing and no one can shake you? It starts with one simple but powerful shift. Stop giving your energy away for free. Most people hand over their peace of mind like it's a free sample at a store. Some random person online leaves a negative comment. Boom! Hours of mental arguments. Someone gives them a weird look in public. Time to overanalyze and rethink every conversation they've ever had. A minor inconvenience happens. That's it. The whole day is ruined. It's like running a business and giving away all your inventory for free. At some point, you have to start charging. You have to ask yourself, does this person's opinion pay my bills? Will I even remember this a week from now? Is this actually my problem, or am I just picking up someone else's bad energy? Because here's the truth, 90% of what stresses people out is nothing more than someone else's projections. Someone is rude to you? That's their issue. Someone doubts you? That's their limited mindset. Someone disrespects you? That says more about them than it does about you. Think about it. When you react, when you get upset, when you let something take control of your emotions, you're basically saying, here, take my peace, I don't need it. But your peace of mind is your most valuable currency. And the people who move through life unshaken, they figured out that most things just aren't worth their energy. And here's where it gets interesting. When you stop reacting, when you stop engaging with negativity, when you become truly unbothered, something weird happens. The people who used to trigger you suddenly lose their power. The things that used to ruin your day barely register. The world itself starts feeling lighter because you stop carrying things that were never yours to begin with. And once you taste that level of mental freedom, there's no going back. But there's one more piece to this puzzle, because it's not just about avoiding negativity, it's about flipping the whole game. Instead of just not being affected by the world, what if you could actually start bending it in your favor? That's where things get really fun. Let's break it down. Number 2. Unshakable. Mastering the art of letting go. Most people move through life like a sponge. If someone around them is stressed, they absorb it. If someone is rude, they take it as a personal attack. But instead of soaking up all this energy, you need to shift into something else. The observer. Imagine you're at a coffee shop. The barista is having a rough day and snaps at you for no reason. The average person immediately takes it personally. Why is she being rude to me? I didn't do anything wrong. And just like that, their mood is affected. But the observer, they see what's happening without absorbing it. Oh, she must be going through something. Same event, different experience. The difference, it didn't enter your system. This is detachment in action. You let the world move around you, but not through you. Ever notice how every regrettable decision is made in the heat of the moment? That's because emotional reactions bypass logic. They hijack your brain. The fix? Pause before reacting. Someone says something offensive? Pause. Anxiety kicks in? Pause. You feel the urge to argue? Pause. That tiny moment of stillness gives your brain a choice: react automatically or respond intentionally. And that choice? That's where all your power is. Here's a pro trick. Before responding to anything, mentally ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Because 99% of the time, it's not. Drama, whether in relationships, work, or social circles, feeds on reactions. It's an ecosystem that thrives on emotional responses. Gossip only spreads when people engage. Toxic people only stay when they get a reaction. Arguments only escalate when both sides participate. When you stop feeding the system collapses. Imagine someone tries to pick a fight with you. Instead of reacting, you just smile and move on. They're left completely powerless, because here's the truth: people who try to provoke you, they're not looking for truth or understanding. They're looking for control, and when you give them nothing, they lose that control. That's why the most dangerous person in any interaction is the one who doesn't take the bait. And once you start doing this, you'll notice something strange. People start respecting you more. They won't test you as often, and even when they do, they'll quickly learn you're not the one to mess with. Because once you master emotional immunity, you become untouchable. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, this makes sense in theory, but what about when emotions feel overwhelming? And that's where the final step comes in: rewiring the way you process emotions before they even start. Because the real secret to mastering detachment, it's not just about controlling your reactions, it's about changing the way you experience them in the first place. Number 3, why you care. The hidden social programming against them, it's almost like people enjoy being controlled by their emotions. They'll say, I just can't help it. That's just the way I am. But here's the real kicker. The moment you stop reacting, you win. Not just in your personal life, but in everything. Let's break this down. There's a reason why the most powerful people in any situation, whether it's a high-stakes negotiation, a social interaction, or even an argument, are always the ones who stay calm. The moment you lose control of your emotions, you hand over leverage. If someone knows they can trigger you, they own you. If a situation can get under your skin, it controls you. If your emotions are constantly reacting to the world dictates your reality. Now, imagine the opposite. Imagine becoming someone who simply doesn't bite the bait anymore. A passive-aggressive comment, you don't even flinch. Someone trying to test you, they get zero reaction. Life throws unexpected obstacles at you. You adapt and move on. This isn't about ignoring problems. It's about refusing to let problems own you. When you master this, people start treating you differently. They don't test you as much. They respect your space. And the best part? You start making decisions based on logic and intention, not knee-jerk emotional reactions. Because here's what most people don't realize. When you react emotionally, you're operating on autopilot, and the world loves people who are easy to manipulate. Marketing teams prey on your impulses. Toxic people thrive on getting under your skin. Systems of control rely on people who can't detach. When you react, you are predictable. And predictable people are easy to control. But when you stop being easily moved by things, when you become an observer instead of a reactor, suddenly you gain something that 99% of people will never have: true freedom. And it's in that space, where nothing outside of you dictates your internal state, that you start truly living on your own terms. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds great, but how do I actually implement this? That's where things get even more interesting, because the key to making this shift permanent isn't just about knowing it. It's about rewiring your entire response system. Let's get into that. Alright, so we've established that reacting emotionally hands over your control. But here's the real challenge. How do you actually train yourself to stop reacting? Because let's be honest, if detachment were easy, everyone would be doing it. The truth is, most people don't even realize how conditioned they are to react. From childhood, we've been wired to respond instantly to external stimuli. Someone insults you, you feel the need to defend yourself. A situation that frustrates you, you have to vent. It's like living life with an open control panel, where anyone, a boss, a stranger, a social media post, can walk up and push your buttons at any time. But what if you could disable the control panel entirely? This is where emotional immunity comes in. And no, I'm not talking about ignoring emotions or becoming a robot. I'm talking about training your brain to break the cycle of automatic reactions. Step 1. Observe. Don't absorb. Most people absorb every situation like, Number 4. The cost of indifference. Ever felt like life is just one reaction after another? One moment you're fine, the next something changes, and suddenly you're overwhelmed. But here's the truth. Reacting to every little thing isn't sustainable. The key isn't suppressing emotions, it's reprogramming how you process them. Most people treat emotions like wild animals, uncontrollable, unpredictable, something they just have to deal with. But emotions, like muscles, can be trained. Ever notice how some people remain calm under extreme pressure while others break down over minor inconveniences? It's not because they were born with some special ability. They trained their nervous system to respond differently. Your brain has default pathways, patterns formed by past experiences. If for years your brain has linked stress with panic, that's what it will continue to do. If it has linked criticism with defensiveness, that reaction will happen automatically. Every time you're about to react emotionally, stop and ask, what if I responded in the opposite way this time? Instead of getting irritated, try smiling. Instead of rushing to defend yourself, stay silent. Instead of panicking, take a deep breath and observe. Your brain will resist. It will scream, no. We always react this way. But if you keep overriding that impulse, eventually your brain rewires itself. One day, you'll notice something strange. Situations that used to trigger you don't anymore. The old response just isn't there. That's when you know you're winning. Most people don't realize it, but their inner dialogue determines how they feel about everything. The next time something upsets you, ask yourself, what story am I telling myself about this? Is this interpretation actually useful? Because 90% of the time, it's not. You're reacting not to the event, but to the meaning you've attached to it. When you take control of your internal narrative, you take control of your emotions. Here's a trick that will change your life. When people expect a reaction from you and you give them nothing, it throws them off completely. Ever seen someone get insulted, but instead of getting angry, they laugh and agree? You're so stubborn. Yeah, it's one of my best traits. You never take anything seriously. I try not to. You really don't care, do you? Nope. That's called emotional judo, taking someone's negative energy and flipping it back on them. When you refuse to be affected, you send a clear message. You don't have control over me. And nothing frustrates people more than realizing their attempts to trigger you aren't working. Being unshakable isn't about never feeling emotions. It's about not letting them control you. It's about making a choice. Do I let this situation define me, or do I define the situation? Because once you stop reacting to things that don't deserve your energy, you start living on your terms. And that's when life really changes. If this resonated with you, hit that like button. If you want more content like this, subscribe. Because this is just the beginning. See you in the next one.